Feeling drained? Suffering from brain fog? Trying to focus? No matter how hard you try, you can't? Well, it's not just your sleep or your nutrition or even stress. There's actually a hidden toxin that you are exposed to every single day that is ruining your ability to concentrate, for your ability to perform at your best self. In this video, I'm going to expose the hidden truth of the toxins that you might be exposed to every single day without you even knowing about it. But more important than that, how you could actually start to remove these toxins from your body and detox and reset your life and your energy so that you become your best self. There are actually 5 categories of toxins that you should be aware of and what you can do to actually rid your body of these toxins. The first category is the toxins found in your food and water. Now, where do you find them? Well, 1, plastics and BPA. They're actually found in plastic water bottles, food containers, and canned certain foods. The next, pesticides and glyphosate. They are actually found in non-organic fruits, vegetables, and grains. Also, GMOs. Now, GMO stands for genetically modified organisms, which is actually just a genetic alteration so that the food can withstand pesticides. I don't necessarily think it's the genetic alteration, but because these foods are going to be sprayed with pesticides and herbicides, that is toxic. Next is artificial additives and preservatives. They're found in fast foods, soda, snacks, and all the processed foods. Now, if you're going to the grocery store and you pick up an item, if you have to look at the label and it's something that your grandmother doesn't know, it's probably not safe to eat. It's probably toxic. What I recommend, particularly when you're eating, try to stick with single ingredient foods. And last is heavy metals. Did you know that heavy metals is lurking in tap water, is lurking in high mercury fish, in aluminum cookware? Next is heavy metals like arsenic, like lead, like mercury. They're actually found in the water system, in high mercury fish, and also cookware. Now, how do they actually disrupt or harm you? So all these toxins are actually endocrine disruptors. Now, what exactly does that mean? Well, it actually changes the levels of hormones in your body, reckoning how your body actually functions because your hormone levels are off. Next, it damages your gut health. It increases inflammation and digestive issues. It wrecks your microbiome. Now, the microbiome is actually the flora that is populating in your gut, and with all these toxins, you cause something called dysbiosis, which is basically an alteration of normal, diverse gut flora. What this will do is it will create something called leaky gut, which causes a lot of food particles that come into your system that causes your body to be inflamed. And that's terrible. So how do you start to detox? Well, first, water. Drink filtered water, or like me, drink spring water that is delivered in glass bottles. Next, eat organic and whole foods. Like I mentioned earlier, stick to single ingredients, avoid the ultra processed foods, and avoid food labels where you've got ingredients that you can't pronounce. Next, switch to glass and stainless steel cookware and appliances. Like I would use glass bottles instead of plastic bottles. I have actually a ceramic pots and pans or titanium steel pots and pans rather than using the Teflon lined or aluminum type of pots and pans. Lastly, try activated charcoal or chlorella because those will actually bind against the toxins to allow your body to detoxify against them. The next category of toxins actually comes from the air. Where are they found? It's actually indoor air pollution. There are things called volatile organic compounds or VOCs, and they come from the furniture, carpets, synthetic candies, and air fresheners. Next is mold exposure. Anytime any part of the home is exposed to moisture or wetness for a period of time, it can grow mold. You can find it in your air conditioning systems and poorly ventilated spaces. Last is outdoor pollution. There's car exhaust, industrial pollutants, and even wildfire smoke. We certainly had to deal with all of that during the LA fires happening just a few weeks ago. So how do these things actually harm you? So these organic particles that are breathed in actually triggers respiratory responses. It causes chronic fatigue and brain fog. It also weakens your immune system. Look, one of the lines of defenses for your immune system is actually our lungs and our alveoli that are able to actually regulate what goes into our body. When we're exposed to these toxins and the alveoli get damaged, what can happen is an inflammatory response will occur, and it will also damage our ability to filter out toxins in the future. This ultimately leads to inflammation and oxidative stress, which will lead to premature aging. So how do you actually detox from toxins in the air? Well, in my house, I actually have several air purifiers. Make sure your air purifier has HEPA filters, which is high efficiency particulate air. Next, think about including more plants where you live and work. Plants like the snake plant, peace lily, or bamboo palm actually purifies and detoxifies your air. Also check for hidden mold. You might want to check in your air conditioner units, your bathrooms, under sinks. There are also home mold tests that you can just Google and discover if there's hidden mold in your home. Lastly, spend more time in the outdoors. Spending time in nature is actually really purifying for you. There are actually phytochemicals out in forests that actually preserve your mental health and actually allows you to energetically detoxify. The third category of toxins could be found leaching in your skin. There's actually toxic skincare and makeup that are composed of parabens, phthalates, and other synthetic fragrances. Also some household cleaners and laundry detergents, such as bleach, ammonia, and artificial dyes. Perfumes and deodorants are actually a major culprit for endocrine disruptors. Lastly, non-stick cookware such as Teflon or PFAS chemicals. So how do these things actually harm you? Well, these toxins are actually absorbed through the skin. And when it's absorbed through the skin, it actually messes with your hormones, with your metabolism, and your nervous system. Toxins that are leached through your skin have been linked with several cancers, infertility, and even autoimmune disorders. This contributes to chronic inflammation as well as skin irritation. So, what are some ways you can detoxify against these skin toxins? Well, number one, switch to natural cleaning products like vinegar, like baking soda, like Castile soap. Next, consider non-toxic makeup and skin brands. You can actually look them up at Environmental Working Group. Next, avoid non-stick cookware. I personally use ceramic, but you could use cast iron or stainless steel for your pots and pans. And lastly, opt for fragrance-free or essential oil-based products because they're not going to disrupt your hormones. The next category of toxins are energetic toxins. One is chronic stress and poor sleep. This ultimately leads to high cortisol levels in your body, which causes inflammation and decreases your immune system. Next is blue light overload. Having tons of artificial light actually wrecks your circadian rhythm and disrupts your melatonin levels. And lastly, consider EMFs from cell phones, from Wi-Fi routers, from smart devices. We're learning more and more that these things aren't just harmless, and they probably are more sensitive for some people than others. How do these things actually harm you though? Well, disruptions in sleep kills your energy level. It actually wrecks your mitochondria, putting you prone to getting chronic symptoms, chronic disease, and poor performance. These energetic toxins ultimately damage your mitochondria, which, as you know, are the energy producing centers in the body, and they also direct where the body's energy is going. And so when you disrupt your mitochondrial function, it leads to early aging, chronic symptoms, and chronic disease. So how do you start to detox from some of these things? Well, set up technology boundaries. No screen time, 1 to 2 hours before bed. Actually do a screen digital detox. When I was filming for Squid Games The Challenge, they took away our phones and I wasn't with my phone for about 10 days. What I noticed was a true ability to ground and just being able to connect with other people. The cell phone, particularly social media, allows us to get into cycles of comparison and stress from comparison, leading to additional stress. Next, optimize your sleep. Look, I've got lots of tips at thrivestatebook.com. Check it out. I'm gonna give you a lot of sleep tools there, but not getting enough sleep? Well, it's like allowing toxins to build up in your body. Do you ever go to the bathroom, go number 2, take a crap and not flush the toilet? Well, that's what you're doing when you're not sleeping well, because when you sleep, what happens is we activate the glymphatic system, which is basically the sewer system within our cerebral spinal fluid to actually detoxify the waste buildup in our cerebral spinal fluid. Last is reduce EMF exposure. You can consider keeping cell phones away from the body, using wired headphones instead. There are a couple of EMF harmonizing devices that you can look up. And lastly, just reducing stress. There's tons of videos where I talk about stress reduction techniques, which includes breath work, meditation, and exercise. The last category of toxin is the toxin of ideas or social contagion. You know, with this election cycle, we have noticed basically parties that have labeled each other red, blue, good, bad, and we see all over the media just a lot of rhetoric, a lot of vitriol and hate going about. You know, I recently posted a picture of myself with RFK Jr., and without even knowing my stance, I had people in my life who I've actually cured of disease, people that I've coached before in the past, you know, close coworkers and people I went to medical school from, come out and just ridicule me, all because of a picture. So what are some labels we put on people of ideas or of perspectives that we start to label and then cast negative energy to other people? This is truly a toxin, the toxin of hate, the toxin of anger. Remember during the COVID pandemic, there were actually over 4,000 anti-Asian hate crimes. People labeling the virus the China virus, leading to violence. So where are these ideas found? They're found in mainstream and social media. They're found in how we speak to each other. You know, whenever we judge, whenever we hate, whenever we find reasons to divide against each other, that's a toxin. The negativity toxin spreads. You know, when I was in Squid Game, the challenge, you know, for many people, I helped with breath work or got people to calm down. But maybe one or two people said that I was trying to be this dictator or how I was trying to take over. And all of a sudden, fear spreads faster than love. And that's a toxin that could spread much faster than any toxin in the air, any toxin in the skin. These viral toxins of thought, of hate, they spread faster than the toxins in food and water, faster in air, faster than the toxins in our skin. They are basically echo chambers that can continue. And what happens when we feel these things? What happens when we feel fear, of anger, of hate, of worry, well, it changes our biology. It puts us from parasympathetic states to sympathetic states. It turns on inflammation in our body. It raises cortisol in our body. It actually becomes something that actually affects every single cell in our body. It weakens our immune system. So how do you start to detox from these toxins? Number one, curate your information diet. Ask yourself, are you picking up the truth or are you picking up a perspective that is being propagated? Cultivate some self-awareness. Notice yourself when you get triggered. Question your reactions. Ask yourself, and what I am thinking, is that coming from a place of judgment? Is it coming from a place of force? Or is it coming from a place of love or understanding? So practicing gratitude and love is really important as well, because as much as there is hate and anger and fear that's in the world, so is the choice of love. And it does take some energy to focus our attention and intention towards love and gratitude. And lastly, build real world connections. You know, I was really deeply surprised that so many people I thought I was close with came out and they reached out and they ridiculed me. But then I asked them to reach out to me in private, either a private DM or have a phone call with me, and we talked and they felt me, they felt my voice, and they heard my perspective. Yes, all of a sudden they seem to have woken up. I'm like, oh my God, I just placed this blame, I just placed this label on you, forgetting to see you. And so can we start to see each other for who we are inside? I truly believe that every single person on this planet deserves to be here, that every single person on this planet is love, and that there are filters we place in front of this love from our egos, from labels, from belief systems, from party systems. You know, we put these artificial labels that divide us rather than connect us to who we are. I truly believe that much like cells are to the human body, human beings are to the organism and body that is humanity. And for us to have optimal health, longevity, and peak performance, every single cell needs to do its part. Every single cell needs to be given a good environment and share their gifts with all the other cells in the body. That gives us optimal health. humanity needs to do the same. Our nations need to do the same. Every individual has to be seen for its unique role in the entire body and ecosystem that is our nations and that is humanity. Can we rid the toxin of hate, of judgment, of separation by incorporating the love that is always present, that is within all of us, and that we are all connected by? There you have it, the toxins that are present in our everyday life. If you enjoyed this video thus far, make sure you hit that like button, comment and engage with this video, and share it with your friends and family members. If you haven't already, also subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any more content. But those are the 5 toxins that we are faced with every single day. Toxins in the air, toxins in the food that we eat, toxins for our skin, energetic toxins, and then that toxin of fear and of hate. Are you now more conscious of what you're exposed to and how you can rid yourself of some of these toxins? How have some of these toxins affected your performance today, the relationships that you have at home with your family and friends, or the relationships that you have with your organizations and the people that you work with? Look, I've had the fortune to guide hundreds of individuals and organizations reach new levels of productivity, new levels of vitality and energy. And one of the most important things we give personalized and bespoke to every individual and organization are these tools to rid themselves of toxins. If you are an individual and organization, just find yourself not performing at your very best, that there might be some symptoms of fatigue or brain fog or low energy, let me invite you to bring in some of the tools that I have, some of the access I have to precision health and wellness so that we can revitalize yourself and your organizations. To find out more information, go to kienvu.com. At the end of the day, I want you to remember this. Yes, there are toxins out there, but the ultimate deneutralizing force is that of love. Remember always, you are your best medicine.